Just before we can go live.
Oh, I did, just to make sure. Well, hello, everybody, and happy Sunday, and welcome to the Racing Insiders podcast. This is the Unsealed show with me, Kate Dillon from Crate Insider, and Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. Oh, good. Like my little banners, they actually cover up my little cords there. But I actually asked him, for anybody who watches the show, I just asked him, like, right before pushing the live button, do you have a drink?
Did you pee?
Did you have to go to the bathroom? Are you good? Are you good? So he said he was. He said he was. Yep. So Steve, I guess tell us what you're drinking.
Ultra.
Yeah.
I gotta wash my awesome figure.
Yes.
Make sure it doesn't get more round than what it is right now.
Yeah, and I'm drinking a red wine spritzer. So I've got my box wine. And Sprite.
That's not fucking dorky at all.
I know. I'm such a nerd. Because, yeah, what did I do for fun today?
Or what is that? You're like Metro. Or what is it? Red wine spritzer is more like a... I don't know. They were probably drinking that shit at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're probably... Yeah.
Okay, I didn't bring the...
You did not wear your derby hat today.
Yeah, I did not wear a derby hat at all today. So tell me, how was your week?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. It was insane as usual, but, you know.
Probably not as good as, like, I just got a new charger week, but...
Well, it was the week before.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm still enjoying that, so it's good.
Well, I like your charger.
And I got 500 miles yesterday, so...
Ooh.
She's opened up a little bit. Did
you see a significant difference? And go ahead and explain your 500 miles.
I haven't been able to go fast yet, so... We'll see.
Yeah, true. But the whole deal was that 500-mile deal was that it at 500 miles,
little detune,
kind of a detune because it kind of breaks in the first 500. Yeah. Okay, cool a deal. Alrighty, well, let's say hi to some folks over here. I'll bring up some comments here, and I see Scott's here from California, and Jennifer's here. And Ronnie's here. I actually have a question that I got this week, and I actually typed it up already so that we could jump into questions right away.
Okay.
And so the question I have is it true that there are new heads on the 602 and that they make 20 more horsepower?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I knew that would be the short answer.
I mean, there were some heads back in 2019 that were pretty shitty from GM. Was it 20 horsepower? No. Not really. Could it have been? Yeah. There was some pretty shitty machine work getting done, but GM actually they didn't change anything other than who is the third party finisher of the heads. So
yeah,
are they doing a better job? Yes, they are. But
well, yeah, and like that 20 horsepower. I mean, like you said, back in 2019 when they had that run of a few of them, there could have been, a couple of them that were just extremely bad,
right?
But nothing.
Well, we're bad. Still talking production line built engines here, so
yeah.
But no, there's no, like, if you buy a new one versus one you bought 3 weeks ago, is there 20 horsepower? No, there's not.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to know. All right, we got another question here. Let's see. Ronnie is here. He says hello from Kentucky. One question: do they have a Ford Crate engine out there?
Yeah, there's plenty of them out there. A lot of Asphalt Series, a lot of the Ford Crate engine. Yeah. It's just nothing we deal with.
Right.
Because I'm saying like 99% of crate racing is GM. Other than, like I said, that rare, probably 1% that's, an Asphalt Series allows a Ford Crate engine. And there's a couple dirt tracks that do, honestly, but pretty rare and
just
few and far between, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Well, and feel free to drop your questions in. We are always happy to answer any questions.
The Ford's a little bit out of the realm of affordability for a lot of people.
Well, and the horsepower, it doesn't match up with
affordability.
You know what you're going to make me do is...
I know.
No.
It was a fucking weak joke, but I'm just saying.
No, I know, but no, next time I'm going to have to get one of those sound things that I can do, like the little sound effects. Like that, yeah. I am like 3 mouse clicks away from making that happen. Because it works really good with my video switcher.
Oh yeah, you're like all fancy now. I'm gonna have 42 fucking cameras on here and be switching back and forth. Oh, you can actually have 4.
I can have up to 4. Yes. I know. I'm such a nerd. I don't have a race car. What else am I going to spend money on?
There's that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, you guys keep on asking your questions. It turned out to be a just absolutely amazing day as far as weather goes today here in North Carolina.
Absolutely. Tomorrow might suck, but
I think it's supposed to rain all week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like thunderstorm bullshit. Typical this time of year.
Yeah.
As the warm weather moves in.
Yeah, and it's going to get warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer.
Might be a nader or two.
A what?
A nader.
Tornado?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're not really in tornado country so much, but
no, I know.
Yeah, not so much. Not so much. What else do you got for us, Steve? Entertain us.
Nothing, honestly. I mean, it's been a pretty lethargic week, honestly.
That's not a problem, no. Yeah.
Oh, it is our awesome friend's birthday today.
Whose birthday is it?
Bree's.
Yes. My sweet girl, Bree.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Bree.
Exactly.
Yes, I was talking to Andy the other day.
The much better half of Andy Garris.
She is sweet, and we figured out that she's young enough to be my daughter. So I just claim her as my daughter when we go places.
Well, who wouldn't?
I know, awesome. She's great. She's so sweet. All right, we got a question here for you, Steve.
Yep.
From Shep, and Shep says, "What's your recommendation on crank and water pump pulleys on a 602?"
I mean, the two I use always is either going to be KRC or Jones. That's the two I like. Had 0 failures with either deal. So that's my recommendation.
Well,
might be kind of simple and boring, but
that's just brands.
They're proven.
Well, yes, but that's brands. And then more specifically, do you recommend going with a serpentine? I mean, I guess it's going to depend if it's a late model or a modified and what your application is.
Serpentine deal.
And do you want everything on the front, or do you want to run power steering on the back like you do in a 604?
Well, I mean, it just depends on the class that you're allowed to do it on. But, I mean, ideally, you're going to run the power steering and the fuel on the back, and then you're just driving cranked water pump. So,
yeah. So we're going to...
I mean, both Jones and KRC make, in my opinion, the two best front drive systems, regardless of what you're running on the front.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's for 602, 604, 525, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, those are the two brands that we typically use. All right. William Glass says, "Hello, see you Thursday." So I guess he's going to pick it up his engine?
No. He's already picked it up. He's been down there for the last month trying to get everything organized with his chassis builder to get everything in and everything else.
Oh, you mean to get parts? Yes, it's still troubling to try to get parts.
He's had some problems getting some stuff.
It's not the easiest thing in the world, I'll tell you that. And look who's here. Dave Hammond. Hammond Motorsports. God,
the Dave Hammond.
The Dave. Dave is brilliant.
I'm feeling like, super excited to have Dave Hammond here.
Yeah.
If we can get him come vacation,
which
I'm sure he will because Tori's here, then, we can get him on the show live.
Dave.
Which would be really fun.
Dave, you're invited. I have apartments. I can get you a townhouse. So yeah, we'll get you all set up. So you can come and be on the show. Well, you know what? We're doing StreamYard now. We can actually get Dave on the show remotely.
That would be fun.
We could totally do that. Would be so awesome. We could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's actually, what StreamYard is meant for. Not really.
And everybody thinks I'm a freaking dick on here. Imagine, listen to Dave talk.
Dave can be really nice. Dave can be really nice if he wants to.
That's why I like Dave.
Oh, and Tori's here too, and she says, "Hey, Dave." Hey, Dave.
She's got a standing job order in Iowa. Like if she wanted to go somewhere else other than here and have a job instantly, it would be in the place that doesn't exist, meaning Iowa.
You know what? Dave's probably going to bring send you a box of dirt. Iowa dirt is black and it can't come from anywhere else. And I see we have a question from Greg. Steve, are the new 602 heads better than the older ones? I mean, we just kind of touched on that at the beginning.
No, I'll be honest. I mean, if I was going to build a 602 and I wanted what I think is best, I'd probably be opting for about some 2014 heads.
So. Wow. Did they just kind of have some premier
Well, I mean, one advantage of those heads is the exhaust ports are actually the correct way rather than upside down.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Darren says hi. And Earl says, what the heck? He was supposed to have a show from a boat today. I don't know.
Which Earl?
Earl Ramey.
Oh.
From a boat.
Well, they were like going out on the boat for Bree's birthday.
Oh.
But, Andy completely failed in telling me until last night.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I know. See?
I still didn't know anything about it.
Fucking Ramey.
I'm trying to think of what that t-shirt said. It was his wife was wearing. Hilarious. And Earl says that Dave Hammond is a badass. Yes, we're going to agree. Dave Hammond is. And Dave says, can I bring Clark and Eddie? We're going to say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though I'm generally no pets, but I would let Clark and Eddie come down. So, yeah, bring them. Bring them. And he says, hell yeah, I'll do a show. So that's great.
I'm just surprised that they're not doing Bree's birthday on Andy's big deck today.
Andy has the biggest deck we've ever seen.
Because she props up that big deck more than anybody I've ever seen. She worked her ass off last 4th of July to get that big deck ready to go. I'm
just going to go ahead and just put in here what word we're actually saying here. And it's deck. Deck. D-E-C-K. Deck.
And he's got a big deck.
He has the biggest deck we know. So, yeah. Well, love Andy. Love working with Andy. Well, it's great. I love how we can kind of hang out with our friends here on the podcast.
Well, that's why we started it.
Yeah, it is. It is because we were bored looking at each other, having nothing else to say. So it's like, hey, but by the way, have questions, drop them in here. We're happy to answer. Yeah, any kind of questions. Or just drink with us.
Let's have a drink and tell us what you're drinking.
Oh, yeah. Definitely tell us what you're drinking. Earl said it's on Earl's big deck boat. Okay. Got it.
Earl's deck's so big it's got a float.
Oh, yeah. The next post will be, we just got banned on YouTube.
What, for big decks?
Yeah, I guess. Or if actually Facebook is probably a little bit more sensitive about that than YouTube is.
It's a deck, not a...
I know. With an E. I know. Yep. Earl says a show live on the boat next week.
Might do that.
I don't know. It sounds like a good plan. As long as there's Wi-Fi. We need Wi-Fi.
We gotta have Wi-Fi.
We have to have Wi-Fi and we have to have power. Power and Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Those are the two things that I absolutely need. I can wing it with cameras and stuff, but because I'm just like anybody else. If you can make it more complicated, do that. No, I got all these cameras. Might as well use them. But Earl said it sinks.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
So that's not good. We don't want that kind.
No, we don't need no Natalie Wood incidences.
Oh, man overboard, woman overboard. Yeah, I don't know.
Still too sensitive?
I know it is. I was just thinking like still too soon because that's been like 30 years ago.
Right.
40 probably. Actually, probably more like 40 years ago.
You know the only wood that doesn't float? Natalie Wood.
So bad.
That's an old school joke there. No?
That is really bad. Yeah. Wow. I definitely need the sound machine now. Oh, he's got Wi-Fi on the dock. Okay.
All right.
Power, Wi-Fi, and Bloody Mary mix. I was getting so many people. There was this Bloody Mary.
How big's the dock?
Yeah, I don't know, but there was. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Anyway, there was apparently a Bloody Mary competition in Mississippi. And I had all these people that were messaging me. I had a couple people in Messenger that were like, "Kate, check this out." I got tagged. Ben Baker tagged me, and it was just this whole little panorama of all these like amazing Bloody Marys.
There was a Bloody Mary competition?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. You have to look at, I know when you get a chance, you can check out, I shared it. I shared that footage. And, where it's just, one was super cool where it had it almost looks like a bouquet of, I don't know, sliders and everything else.
That's why you drink them.
Well, it's just for fun. Yeah. We have to have a Bloody Mary bar again soon.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Might have to do that as part of the show. Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be fun.
It would be fun. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm known for it.
If we can get the Hammond out here, well, no, he doesn't drink.
Dave doesn't drink.
Damn it. All right, well, he can drink tomato juice.
That's right. Yeah.
And make it pretty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, we can have our own little competition. We can get it judged by our viewership.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be super fun. That'd be good.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that. That'd be great. Okay, now I'm having fun. Yeah, and Dave says, better yet, take the show on the road. Iowa's not that far away, and then Steve can see some great Midwest racing. Iowa is far. It's far. It's far.
It's a ways away.
Yes, it is. It is. Oh, here's one for you. So Tom says, hey, Steve, congrats on the nomination at Antioch Speedway, the Hall of Fame.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I
mean, I doubt I'll get in, to be honest with you, because there's like a lot more dudes in there that are probably more qualified to enter the Hall of Fame this year than I am. But just to be nominated was like complete total honor. So
yeah,
it's one of my favorite places ever that I've ever raced. So.
Well, it was interesting when you added up together all of your wins and your top fives and top tens and all of that. It was pretty astounding how many races you won at that track.
We won a lot of races in that track.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, like one of my regrets for moving back here, it's not a regret. I mean, I don't regret moving here. I'm just going to say, like, one of the things I miss is actually the fans at that place, because there was no more diehard fans than the fans in Antioch in California. Well,
and I'm going to go ahead and drop in a comment myself here because it's kind of cool. We've got the other channel, the Racing Rewind.
Yeah.
And you can actually, I did a whole, because I'm a super nerd, I did a whole redirect. So if you just type in racingrewind.com, it'll just take you over to the YouTube channel.
Well, I talked to a good friend of mine. Well, I say a good friend of mine. I've known this man since I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I'm going to say a good friend of mine, Dwayne Blunt. He used to race at Merced Speedway back in the days of Teddy Stoffel and guys like that. And matter of fact, him and Teddy were like best friends. But like, we talked this week, and I'm like, dude, if you've got any old videos, now we're talking like this is before my time racing,
right?
So like, if he could come up with something, that'd be freaking awesome.
Well, and I'm going to extend that to anybody. So the Racing Rewind channel, it started because Steve found his shoe boxes of VHS tapes from his races.
And there's a lot more at the house. We just haven't had time to do it.
Well, you haven't brought them over here.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's interesting. It is incredibly time consuming, because the thing about analog versus digital is that you literally just have to play the tape and record it onto something else digitally. Yeah. So when I would do that, I'd have the VCR set up and then have it hooked up into a computer and just push the play button and the capture and all of that. Yeah. Which is actually one of the things that this thing.
But I mean, anybody else on here, I mean, the whole idea is like VHS taped races from, I'm going to say mid 90s to before.
Well, yeah. 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. We've got a few early 2000s, and we got them from different areas of the country. It really
and it's not all my stuff. I mean, you got stuff on there that, people have sent you from Iowa and stuff, So.
Yeah, so I'd like to get some.
It's
more.
like the one bad race your dad ever had is like on there.
Yeah, it sure is. I know. I was like, Dad, look, I finally got a race, and he's like, yeah, great. Yeah, we were running certain rules, and we were going up against the guys. It was like the worst
race he ever had, or some shit.
Well, it was just totally different rules. Right. It was basically like he brought a crate engine to a Lucas race,
right.
And it was like, but that was the rules that he had, and
that's the one video we have.
That's
on,
the one.
On the channel.
Yeah, the one. Yeah. Tim says you were one of the best at Antioch.
I mean, I grew up on all those tracks, and like, I'm not gonna disagree with your perception, but my perception was always there was like way better. So like when I was talking about this the other day, I said, I was fortunate enough to like outrun and get outrun by the best. So.
Well, it's always the best way to learn, isn't it? To like be able to learn how to like find your line and stuff. I mean, if you've got.
I mean, I learned so much from guys like Bobby Hogue and Jimmy Pettit and like a lot of the guys that used to race at Antioch all the time. I mean, I learned a lot from them. I started racing there full time in 1990, and then of course the last year I raced there was 93. So I basically raced there for 4 seasons, and we were fortunate enough to have a lot of success there. But I had raced there before 1990, and I had like 0 success there. And it was like one of the hardest places in California to go race and win.
What made it so difficult?
The competition there are just local guys, and just the way the track was designed, honestly, at the time. I mean, I remember back in them days, you had to pump up your nuts to go there and race. So I'm serious.
Oh, I can't.
It was not the easiest place to go win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not by any means.
Oh, and look who else is here. Heather Smith. She says my favorite peeps.
God, my favorite woman in the entire world, other than
your mom. I know. I knew that was coming. Everybody needs a nerd in their life. That's why I'm here, right? Yeah. Well, Heather, what's up?
Miss Dirt Diva herself.
Yep. She is the diva of all dirt divas. Absolutely. Yes, we got to get together. We keep saying that.
We keep saying that, but none of us have any fucking time.
I know, but we could have Heather and Jeff up.
Well, that would
for a Sunday awesome. Bloody Mary bar. They can go to church in the morning and then come up here and join us for the show.
Jeff will be drinking soda.
He will. Yeah. I mean, he's not a drinker, but he can be a judge. He could judge our Bloody Mary.
Judge the beauty of the Bloody Marys.
Yes. Yeah. And we could not tell him which one's which. So we could just do total blind. Because, a Bloody Mary competition isn't really what it smells or
and he can also be the designated Heather driver.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So we'll have to see if Heather's on board with that. I think it's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Well, I like how we did set up the camera. So we're completely backlit right now. We should know by now where the sun's going to come from this time.
Yeah, you think. But
I know. But I don't know.
You pull that drape.
Yeah, I could.
Here. Me. There we go.
Look at that. Yep, our shaded studio right now. All right. So Scott says back in the day, different than Antioch in the day, different than Watsonville, Antioch Speedway had concrete walls on the turns, and it could psych out a driver big time.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's what I said. When you went there, you had to pump your balls up. Because, Watsonville was technically my home track. I always considered Antioch my home track for half my career in California there, at least. But Watsonville had no walls on the corners. So at the time, I think they do now, but at the time they didn't. And you could screw up, and worst thing was going to happen, you're going to fly off in the racetrack. Antioch, you screw up, you're eating concrete. So
is Watsonville the one where there's literally no walls at all?
Correct.
And so you'd go.
There was a front straight wall and a back straight wall.
Right, but in the turns, a lot of times it's 1 and 2, and that's where the pits were outside of the track.
You'd go outside the track. Yeah.
So if you went launching, you'd be launching into the.
Yeah, you've seen a couple videos of me launching over the end of the racetrack, I'm sure.
I said I played them. I didn't say I actually watched them.
Oh, okay, well,
I didn't watch the play-by-play. I have to make sure that there's nothing sketchy in there, so I kind of have to watch it. But I'm watching it to edit it. I'm not really watching it to enjoy it. So yeah, interesting. Oh, Mikey is here from Oregon, saying hello, my friends. There you go. So hey, Mikey, man, we got a whole awesome group here today.
I know.
We need more questions though, so keep asking us any questions that you have.
Well, what questions do you have?
Let's see. Because I get lots of questions during the week. You know what? I think would be a really good thing to cover.
What?
Would be, let's talk about the dyno. And that you have a chassis dyno. And so I have kind of a laundry list of questions, but one good thing that I'm going to really put out there for people and ask the question is how would it be best? What's ideal? What kind of preparation should a racer take before he ever even loads up his car to come and take it to you on the dyno?
Number one, make sure your battery's charged.
Okay.
Because I mean, that's the number one thing we run into is like, you know, and we did this last week. I mean, and nothing's got brought up there. I mean, he didn't know, but because his crew guy like loaded up for him, but they left the ignition switch on. So he showed up and it was like a 3-hour journey to get a battery charged enough to where we go, you know, actually get on the dyno. So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two is like, make sure you're race ready. I mean, don't show up there like you're not race ready. Because the idea of the chassis dyno is like you want your car to be like it is when you're going to go to the racetrack the first time or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's something that I've just being at the shop that I've seen quite a bit, and that would be my one tip that just from the mistakes I've seen is because otherwise, if you're just trying to get it running, and that's all, I mean, that you're just kind of stuck in that mode, it's really hard to go from that to getting into your best.
Right. I mean, and we had a situation this week as well. I mean, through no part of the car owners, it wasn't his fault. It was a new race car to him, and the drive shaft ended up being too short in the car. So we couldn't dyno it because the drive shaft's wobbled up and down so bad that we were afraid the thing was going to fly out of the car.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
You know, make just you just got to make sure everything's right.
Well, and that brings up my second question, because I did hear about that whole situation. What are some of the things that you can learn on the dyno? I think some of it's obvious, like if you were to compare one carburetor versus the next or whatever. But, you know, I think that this drive shaft situation was certainly something that the racer could have gone to the track. Well, and if I can just back up for a second, is that when that car was on the dyno, the driver inside was like, man, I mean, Alex was like, Alex, Alex was like, wow, this is wobbling. There's something that's off, because he can feel it. Because in a lot of these, if you were on a racetrack and it was all bumpy, you wouldn't know that it was your car.
It's probably not something you'd notice, no.
Yeah. And
until the drive shaft came out, and this was a modified, so it was a steel small diameter drive shaft. So when it flies out and rips your freaking leg off, or bashes you in the freaking arm to where you're like in the hospital for the next 3 months. Yeah. So it can be a pretty scary deal. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we find on the dyno all the time. The advantage of the chassis dyno versus an engine dyno, number one, is like we're testing your entire operation. Because I can engine dyno. I mean, I owned engine dynos. I mean, you put the engine on the engine dyno, the engine runs fine. You put it in the guy's car, and it won't run for shit. So 99% of the time, like, there's a problem in the car.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about the engine dyno is you put the entire combination on the dyno. I mean, on the chassis dyno, sorry. You put the entire combination on the dyno, and then I can tell you everything that's wrong with your car.
Yeah.
I've caught people who've had bird cages freezing up.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, either improper maintenance or, you know, bearing failure or something like that in the bird cages. And I've driven cars on the dyno where it's like, you get on the gas and the car goes, and it goes, and all of a sudden it goes, wham, like that. I automatically know you got a freaking bird cage feeding it. Or, I mean, freezing up.
And just to describe that, and for those who are listening to the podcast,
because the car does the same thing on the chassis dyno as what it does on the track, to a certain point. I mean, you don't have any lateral G-force or anything like that, but I mean, as far as like straight line acceleration, it does the exact same thing on the dyno is what it would do on the track.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and Mikey brings up a really great dyno question. He says, something I've always wondered, how much of difference in the numbers from an engine dyno over a chassis dyno? That's a great question.
It has a lot to do with drivetrain, obviously, because we're reading everything at the rear tires rather than at the crank. So, I mean, I'm going to say, depending on your application, which is either dirt late model with the trick shit you can possibly run, to open wheel modified to street stock type of car, you're talking 10 to 15%.
Okay. Because there's always going to be a loss, kind of like electricity traveling.
Yeah, I mean, there is a loss, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's because there's going to be things that use some of that horsepower before it gets to the
dirt late model. If you got the trickiest of everything made, meaning rear ends and hubs and everything, I mean, everything else going on, it's about 10%. Street stock stuff, you can't necessarily get away with having the trickiest of the trick shit out there. So it's like closer to 15%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Modifies like somewhere in the middle.
Good to know. Actually, Mikey says, this is a surprise. He says they're back in extreme COVID risk here in Oregon. How's North Carolina? I don't know. We're good. We're fine. We're in a bubble. So
we just ignore the shit and keep going on.
I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody having getting sick in this community in a while. Do you know of anybody
around here?
Yeah.
No, God no. No, right now it's like hay fever season. So we're all dying of pollen, not
oh my God, it's so bad, you guys.
I swear to God, the pollen's going to kill more people than COVID ever did here.
Oh, it's so bad. I mean, like when you see this blanket of pollen on a car, it's insane. It's just insane. Like even just everything gets pollen all over it. It's crazy. Mikey said, gosh, I'm full of questions today. He said, is PRI going to be something that may happen this year? And is the car show still a go? So yes and yes. So to the best of my knowledge, PRI is still happening, and that's going to be in December. I don't know exactly the dates off the top of my head. Last I saw, I mean, that was the plan, is that they're planning on being in person. And then for the cars show, we're planning on January 7th and 8th of 2022. So we were looking at some different dates. It's just so hard. That in the fact that racing used to be a season and now it's pretty much a year-round sport. So it's really, really difficult to find a weekend that doesn't have some absolutely major race. Right. And we haven't done a big official announcement through the cars. Like I need to update the website and there's a lot that needs to happen. And we say that it's going to depend on, of course, whether the manufacturers want to be a part of it. If they're like, hey, we just want to go back to one trade show, we respect that, and no harm, no foul. But if we get the great turnout, then we'll keep going forward.
I think this last year was a freaking awesome turnout, and I hope it continues going forward. So.
Great, thank you for that. Thank you.
Because you and Jimmy, you and your brother worked your asses off.
Yeah, we did. we did a lot.
My idea, by the way.
Yeah, you did have a great idea. Yeah, you had the chance. I was like, I
was the idea guy. They were the executioners.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Gary's here, and he says, Susie's probably here too. Mm-hmm. Gary says, motor ran great, 6th place in the Mideast at Fayetteville.
Oh, yeah, so that's fantastic. Pretty good at Vietnam. I mean, you're down there racing in the sand. That's a pretty good job.
Oh, my goodness. And Charles is here. He says, when you dyno, do you use a certain quick change of gears? That's a really good question, Charles.
Yeah, I do, actually. So if you got a quick change, normally I like to dyno somewhere in the 520 to 530 range. Because that gives us good, normally like a good long pull, which is like much more accurate than let's say a 6.0 gear.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it's more accurate when it comes to that 10 to 15% deal I was talking about earlier.
Well, it's also more accurate in the fact that you guys see lots and lots of these cars go across the chassis dyno. Correct. And
this last week, we had dynos every day.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And if you have at least some kind of a baseline that they're starting from, it's much better for comparison.
Correct.
So that you know what you're looking at.
And as a side note, I do dyno for all my customers for free. So
yeah,
it's one of our things that we do because we want our customers to go out there and be competitive the first time they go on the racetrack. So.
I think it's a smart thing to do.
And we've got guys that drive from Indiana and Mississippi and Florida and Louisiana and Pennsylvania and everywhere else to come dyno. So
yeah,
it's worth it doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen such a transformation watching when from somebody unloading to when they load back up and just absolutely transforming their entire racing program.
Absolutely.
And just and it's just little. It's not like, oh yeah, nothing that you have works and you just want to sell you a bunch of stuff. It's not that at all. No. It's those tiny little tweaks, and it's really dialing that stuff in that really makes such a huge difference. Really makes.
Well, I mean, I had customers from Georgia come up here last week that they came up and dynoed, and we changed. Now, I'm not even shitting you. I mean, now this is of course, we've done this before. They had an air cleaner element on their car. It's I don't know, the thing weighed 10 pounds. And we swapped to the Walker deal, and I'm not even shitting anybody. It was 20 horsepower.
Wow.
We've done it before.
Right.
So we recognize that, this guy's got one of these shitty piece of crap fucking air cleaner elements on there.
Yeah.
So we like dyno for a little bit, and they're like, "Hey, dude, not trying to sell you nothing. Let's just swap air cleaners and see what happens." 20 horsepower.
Wow.
So
That's incredible. Oh, Mikey says the car show is on his birthday list. Awesome. We'd love to see you again.
yeah, absolutely.
And Dave says he'll be there. So perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Let's see. Roy says, did you notice the price if MD3 noses went up again due to pandemic material shortages? I'm actually not a 5-star dealer, so I don't know.
No, I saw a post the other day from Warrior that said it was like going up. Yeah.
Well,
and that doesn't surprise me.
And it's not just pandemic shortages. What that whole plastic situation is right now is that there was a plastics plant in Texas, and during the winter storms, I don't know if the plant went down, if it burned down, if it broke a bunch of equipment. Anyway, there's an issue with the plastic resin manufacturer in Texas, and it is affecting. They must be just absolutely monstrous because it's affecting anything and everything that has to do with plastics, even fiberglass as well, because fiberglass uses like plastic resins. Well,
you also need like employees to come to work too.
Yeah, that's a challenge for a lot of places. Lots of places. Unbelievable. I mean, I've seen signs everywhere in town. Tori told me yesterday that Sonic has a sign now hiring, but starting people at $17 an hour.
Really?
It's Sonic.
Fuck
I know. I'm thinking the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah, and she's like, you don't even have to wear roller skates anymore. You can just walk the food to their cars.
Damn.
And, the customers take out their own trash. Like, how hard can it be? I mean, not to take away from Sonic people, but...
No, but...
I mean, I just didn't know what the labor market was, but holy hell.
In Rutherford, North Carolina, it's like $17 an hour at Sonic.
And anybody who doesn't live here doesn't understand, like, how incredibly cheap it is to live here. So that's actually a something.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, I go backwards to like my first job in architecture, I was getting like $15 an hour, and I thought I was doing good. But then once you take the taxes out, I was like, oh my God, I made more money in the restaurant business than I did doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, with my college degree, my student loan. Yeah, I got raises, pretty quickly after that. But still,
I know how to roller skate. Just saying.
Do you?
So yeah, I can like go get me a fucking Sonic job on the side.
But you don't have to roller skate anymore. But
well, I want to.
Oh, okay. I think if you want to, you maybe could. Yeah.
We could.
Yeah, you'd be great. I would love video footage of you on foot roller skates delivering food at a Sonic.
Would you like fries with that?
Yes, I would.
I got that shit down.
Oh, I just noticed I'm wearing my Donnie Shots.
Oh, yeah, get your Donnie Shots shirt.
I do. It's even signed.
That's like faded, though.
Well, yeah, because I do wash it, So after I get him
signed. Is that the one you got signed at Twin Peaks?
I didn't get anything signed. I was too scared to talk to him at Twin Peaks.
You talked to him at Twin Peaks.
I might have said hi. But no, I didn't. It was at the track.
Okay.
I got a couple of them. So a couple of different instances of my Donnie Shots.
Kate's favorite race car driver.
He is my favorite race car driver. Let's see. Shane says, my car was one of the cars last year. I brought it to dyno, and we found out that the Burt ball spline slider was worn out, and I never felt it on the track, but it was about to vibrate Alex out of the seat.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, yeah, that's a good example right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the kind of stuff you're going to find out on the dyno, on that chassis.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad we found that, because trust me, I've broken a ball spline, and my knee got the shit kicked out of it by a freaking carbon fiber drive shaft. Because when it came out and right in my knee. So, remember? I
do.
Yeah.
Well, I also remember that. Well, I didn't know that's what the problem was, but I know that particular time it was absolute carnage.
Yeah, I couldn't walk.
You couldn't walk, and I mean, you were tore up. Your whole car was tore up from the, I guess, basically from the coupler on back.
Tore the interior out of the damn thing.
It did.
Broke transmission, the freaking bell housing, the whole
right. Those were words that I was looking for right there. It just tore up.
And my fucking knee.
And
my knee was swelled up for like freaking month and a half.
Yep. Actually, Shane has a question. He says, also, have you got to run the new train chassis? Just on the dyno?
No, not yet. very soon. Actually, we're waiting on a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, if she's still on.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know who's here. Heather, you know that. Actually, Jeff is working on the trailer
No, he's
for us.
working.
Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith's like finishing the trailer out for us, which we're thinking like this week or next week. So
yeah, you just need to get a wrap.
Yeah,
I know a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah. Wait on my freaking pseudo brother-in-law Jimmy Shields. Get the wrap done. We're good.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Bob says, word on the street here in the Midwest, there's going to be a tire shortage. You know, Bob, I've heard that too, but I don't have any substantive evidence or anything of that. I really don't. I've just heard like little inklings.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's not going to surprise me at all.
No.
I mean, I think
we've had shortages on everything.
Mm.
And there's not one damn thing we've not had a shortage of.
Well,
right now, what's the big deal right now?
Well, it's still steel.
Anything steel.
Steel.
I mean,
plastic. I mean, obviously, wood is issue just for the consumer.
I mean, our buddies at ProFab, they're like struggling coming up with enough to make mufflers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Well, and then stainless as well.
Yeah.
They're struggling to get stainless.
It's a freaking deal, man.
Yeah, it is, and it just goes back to the today we are eating last year's harvest. Look at those potato chips that you're eating there, right there.
Yeah.
When were those potatoes grown? I mean, they would have been grown, if we look at growing seasons, they would have been harvested in the fall and then processed and whatever. But
unfortunately, I mean, I'm not trying to get political, although I'm going to. A lot of these places where a lot of this stuff is produced are in red states.
Yeah.
Or blue states.
Well, it's both. I mean, I don't think you can blame it on that.
Well, I know you can blame it on that. Look what's going on in Pennsylvania. Places like that. I mean, they've been shut the freaking hell down. Oh. And we can't get crap because these assholes are like, oh, no, you can't go out in public because, you might have the COVID. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know like Mikey was saying about how they're, in extreme as well. But that really hasn't affected. These are all essential industries. So that's not the problem. But having workers is a problem.
The people I've talked to up there are saying it's a problem.
The restrictions,
yes,
government restrictions
correct.
are? Okay. And I haven't had those conversations. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm looking for the next thing that I think this is just we're going to be political for a minute. It's not really political. It's just about like observations of our world. The eviction moratorium in North Carolina was extended from March 31st up to June 30th. I think if that's not extended, that's when I think we're going to see some action bust loose. Like right now, I mean, I just got a couple of calls over the weekend here, for instance, because I have some properties here, but there was like a principal of a school she wants to bring a new teacher on and trying to find someplace for her to live. Yeah. Well, there's nothing listed because anybody who isn't paying their rent can't be evicted. So nothing's opening up. And I guess even if you have someplace and you're paying your rent, you're not leaving because there's no place for you to go.
One of my good customers down in Fayetteville,
mm-hmm.
His wife, he owns his own business.
Yep.
And then his wife, what she does is her own deal is she owns like a couple trailer parks.
Okay. Yeah.
And he said the second that they can start kicking people out, they're getting kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there's nothing more aggravating than like you're driving through the, trailer park and they're unloading 60-inch widescreen TVs, but they haven't paid you rent in like a year.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's going to
be ugly when that happens.
It will be. And it'll be interesting to see what hits first, whether it's going to be the bankruptcies or I think we're going to see real estate open up. I think we're going to see a lot of movement. I think there's just nothing's going to happen from now until the end of June.
I think it's going to stall out and we're all screwed. That's what I say happen.
Well,
so you better bury your money in your damn backyard.
Okay. All right. Financial advice from Steve.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I don't think we can say that either, but That's what you're gonna do. Is that
financial advice from Steve?
don't listen. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Go petting for gold.
Yeah, rent one of my Airbnbs and pan for gold in North Carolina. The first gold rush. There's probably some still around here. No, I'm teasing. Okay. And let's see here. Cliff says, just bought a crate. What would you say are the must knows just starting out? And it's for his Southern Sport Mod. What are some of the must knows? Well, actually, Cliff, we've got a really good resource on our website at CrateInsider.com. You can go to the tech articles and videos, and up at the top is the 602 recommendations. It's dated for 2019, but they really haven't changed a whole lot.
602 or 604?
It's a 602.
Oh.
I have both, the 602 recommendations as well as the 604. The one piece that isn't going to be applicable for your Southern Sport Mod is the headers. Your headers are going to come, I think you have to go with Schoenfeld's, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not familiar with the rules for that.
Right, but that particular download when there's a video that goes with it, or you can download it, so you got a whole checklist and you just print it off and click through, and tells you what kind of spark plugs and the kind of distributor and that kind of thing. Some of that depends on your rules. I don't know if they have to run HEIs or not, but even if you do have to run HEIs, we have GM HEIs. You make them race ready and lock them out and get them all set up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And sorry, I don't have a better answer than what Kate just gave you.
Yeah, and we have a couple of people who are also being political. I'm just going to put them up on the screen without saying the words because I don't want to get banned from anything.
F the B word. I like that.
And we know Dave Hammond is not a fan of China. So,
or being politically correct.
Yeah.
What do you say?
The only good thing about the pandemic is all the boatloads of China shit sitting.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess you probably can't see it from that angle.
That's what I love about Dave. I'll say some shit, but Dave will say more shit. So.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I catch myself. I'm like, I shouldn't fucking say that. But Dave's like, oh no, we're balls deep in this shit. I'm saying it.
Oh man, it's like the theme of the theme of the podcast is balls.
I was watching him on. I was watching Dave on the what do you call it?
Was it Brian Littleton?
Brian Littleton's freaking podcast. I was watching Dave on there, and Dave's like all cussing the Chinese and shit. I had to comment on it. And it was pretty awesome. It was Dave. It was like 100% freaking Dave.
Dave doing Dave things.
Dave doing Dave things. Yeah. Like the funniest thing I ever saw was like him like cussing the Chinese dudes out, like trying to take pictures of his car at PRI.
Wow, yes. Yeah. So let me paint the picture here for you. Is that Dave's got this chassis and he's got all of his parts on it and everything. And an Asian man comes in with a camera and starts like
he was a Chinaman.
Scrutinizing and taking pictures, and then Dave kicked him out of his booth.
That was the funniest shit I ever
forcefully seen. Yeah. Forcefully. Yes. Yeah. Any other questions? Actually Cliff is asking, he's got that 602 Southern Sport Mod. He's got a recommendation on a carb. A lot of that's going to be your rules, because I don't know what your rules are right off. If you can run a 4-barrel carburetor or if you have to run a 2-barrel, that I'm not sure.
Where are you located?
Well, it's Southern Sport Mod. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, where you're located has a lot to do with who I'd refer to as a carburetor builder.
Yeah.
I mean, my first thought's like David Smith or somebody.
Right, but Southern. Well, and I think of David more on the Crate Racing USA.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe Willie or somebody.
Could be Willie, and then there's some other like some independent carb guys down there that actually do a really good job there too. I mean, he's in Texas.
Right.
Is where Cliff
Texas.
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gosh, what's that guy's name?
I know. It's total something.
I met him at PRI. He was a good dude.
That's who I'm thinking of too, in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say it's like Total Carb Solutions or something. We'll try to think of it.
Dang it, what was the name of his place?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll pop up. And Brian's here too. He says, no filter Dave. Never have to worry about where he stands.
Exactly.
That's the truth right there. Absolutely.
You mean Brian Littleton, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know, you're like everybody here today. This is awesome.
Hey, let's plug the show so I can get on his show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. So Brian is running a show for Race Logic, racelogic.vip if you want to sign up for any of our courses. But Brian's doing he also does a live on Facebook. Spoiler alert. Should I be a premature promoter? Usually Steve is the premature promoter, but I'm going to be premature promoter. Keep an eye out because in this coming week, or I think anyway, Brian and I work together on a lot of this stuff, and we're going to go ahead and create a YouTube channel for Race Logic.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of great content there. You know, interviews with racers and interviews with instructors, and we're going to put that up onto the YouTube channel.
And Dave Hammond.
Dave Hammond Motorsports. Yes. So that's my oh yes, TCC is what Cliff says. TCC, that is correct for the carb. Going back to the carburetor. Yes, that is absolutely Brandon from TCC. So yes, yep. So those are great.
Yeah. From what I understand, he builds a hell of a carburetor down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard great things. Absolutely. And Brian says not this Wednesday, but next. You're on, Steve.
I'm good.
Yep.
I'll come over to Kate's and we'll hang out here and
Yeah, because he does it at 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And so, yeah,
I'm good.
Come on over and I've got all the gear.
I'll break out the whiskey that night.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Yeah, because Cody's going to be on from Dirt Car Lift this week. So if you want to catch Cody from Dirt Car Lift on Brian's show for Race Logic, you can certainly do that. So that's good stuff. Good stuff. Robert says,
you know what'd be hilarious?
What would
a show with me and Hammond?
Oh my gosh. We have the technology. We can make this happen. We can. I don't know. We might have to be in some kind of a private area.
Because where I don't insult somebody, he will. So that would be fucking awesome.
I don't think I could even moderate that one. I mean, I'm good with hanging out with y'all, but we can be on somebody else's channel for all of this. That would be ideal. Yeah. Not my channel.
Not your channel?
Not my channels. No, because that's a really good opportunity to have issues. And Mikey says I'd pay to see that show.
See, it could be a pay-per-view.
Wow.
Me and Hammond on the same show.
Oh my god.
Me drinking and Dave just being Dave.
Yeah, it reminds me of that comedian. It was Ron, somebody that always had the whiskey and.
The freaking blue collar comedy tour guy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Ron White.
Yes, yeah. I can see you doing that. You know, you got that really good whiskey that Tamar brought over too. Yeah. You have several good whiskeys.
There's some right shit in there right now.
Yeah, you really do.
That's some cigars.
Yes, cigars. You might as well just bring the cigars over here. I mean, if you wanted to. We'll have to get you a second humidor. One here and one at home. You're away humidor.
There's that. Fly away. Oh my God, she snorted.
Which is funny. I don't know. Okay, here's Dave. Dave says if you coat shit, you get flies. So don't waste your time bullshitting. Exactly. You get flies. Right. With sugar. Yes. And Mikey says yearly subscription. Sign me up. Wow. Look at that. A whole new revenue stream for you, Steve. Yes. The Dave and Steve show.
God, that'd be fucking hilarious. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
We'd be banned from every fucking thing that there is to be banned from.
Yeah, you guys would have to be on Parler. No, actually, there's another social media platform that would be interesting to be on, and that would be Locals. Have you heard of Locals?
No.
That's from Dave Rubin from the Rubin Report. It's his social media platform, but okay, that's fine. But here's the thing: it's kind of like you have your own channel that you can post, pictures. You can just do text. You can do little videos. You can go live and interact with your audience.
I'm just sitting here viewing this as it's Monday, the Hammond Report.
something like that.
Well, yeah, but see, here's the thing on locals is it you can decide what's public and what is what is kind of like your core audience, and you can have a paid audience. You can actually make money. You know who's really hot on locals? Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, she's actually awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome, and I follow
it's like
her.
the only Democrat I like.
I don't have like a monthly subscription.
Don't agree with her gut point on view on guns, but
right.
Other than that, I like her.
The whole point is that
she's hot.
Well, yeah, she is, and I mean, I'm going to agree with that. So the way locals works is that you pay to subscribe to these channels, and that keeps out all the riffraffy spam. Trolls, all of that. I mean, if you want to pay me to troll me, I'm okay with that. I mean, hell, I get enough trolls the way it is, but it's way better if the trolls have to pay and they can't just create fake accounts.
All right, Hammond, we're like doing a deal.
Yeah, you have to do a local. We'll do a locals account. We'll just promote it from here that you get to do a local account. Great. Oh, and Tom says, think you need a show with Jim Pettit, Bobby Hogue, and talk old days of racing.
You know what? Honestly, I've actually thought about that, and I think that would be amazing. That's a freaking great idea.
Well, and that was actually the premise of starting this show, to be honest. That was kind of, I just wanted to tell stories.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this, so this is what we do.
I mean, the stories that, like, just the three of us that you named that we have are probably pretty freaking epic. I guarantee we could probably keep dudes laughing for hours.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally for hours, especially when you're talking like to Pettit and to Hogue and guys that were around a lot longer than what I was. Now, I mean, I grew up around all those guys. I was a little kid back when they were, really, I don't want to say in their prime, but I mean, like when they were like Jimmy, like he was, he started when he was 16. I started when I was 16, but I'm like 8 years younger than Jimmy. So, I mean, I was going to the racetrack when Jimmy was like just starting, stuff like that. Robert Miller, I mean, all them guys. I mean, it'd be hilarious to like hear some old stories.
I always love hearing my dad's stories.
And like the fun, like a lot of the fun stories aren't necessarily like at the racetrack, but it's like after.
Yeah.
Or, at the hotel when we're away on a weekend racing deal and like what happened at the hotel and who did what, all that stuff.
All the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
Behind the scenes stuff is like pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I agree. There's a lot of good stories like that.
Oh, I've got some good ones just back when we used to like chase Ray Morgan around California. So, I mean, there's some fucking stories. Trust me.
That'd be good. If you want to organize it, I've got the technology. I'll make it happen. So,
hell, I got good stories from here.
Mm-hmm.
Just with all the guys I'm hanging out with. So
it's hard not to.
No.
If you're around racing, it's just kind of what goes with it. Just stuff happens.
Ask Jeff. Oh my God, I shouldn't say that.
No, okay, well, yeah.
I was gonna say, ask Jeff Smith about like me rocking his freaking toter home one night.
Can only imagine.
Because I'm like, hey Jeff, let me borrow your toter for 5 minutes. He's like, okay. I'm like in there like rocking the thing.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, cool deal. I think we are. Gosh, we don't have any more questions. Let me just make sure. Mikey says there's so much truth to that. For me, the car show was awesome, but the behind the scenes hanging out was icing on the cake. Yeah, it's the ice. The behind the scenes is really
it's like the real deal.
Is part of just how this lifestyle works, for sure. So cool deal. Well, I guess we can kind of wrap this up. Do you have any last motivational, Steve? Do you have anything to bring to the motivational table? I don't, but I was just throwing them out there.
I don't. Not good.
Well, I'm just gonna say.
I watched the NFL draft.
Okay. How was that?
The last 3 days of it.
Okay. So. Could you tell who even got picked, or was everybody just all masked up?
No. I mean, I knew they got picked, but
okay.
I was gonna give Maria shit at FK. Well, I mean, she was all happy because they got who they wanted, but
good deal for San Francisco
like,
49ers.
Oh yeah, she's diehard 49ers fans.
Well, cool deal. Well, I guess we will.
I was the only guy with balls enough to like laugh at her post though.
Oh,
Everybody was all thumbs up and hearts, and I'm like,
no. You do you.
well, I mean, that's me and Maria's relationship.
Of course, of course. Well, cool deal. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the show. And after this, I mean, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and help out our channel. If you're on Facebook, give us a like or follow our page. And for any of these, or don't, yeah, no, I gotta give people things to do. And if you're just caught part of this and you wanted to hear the replay, if you don't want to watch it as a video, then tomorrow head on over to the RacingInsiderspodcast.com, and you can get the audio, and you can also subscribe to us on iTunes and have it delivered. Every Monday is when our podcast is delivered, and you can check it out there. So, and if you need parts, call me. If you need engines, call him. If you need an engine done, getting engines, that's another. We'll save that for next week.
Man, yeah. I'm here in July on 604, so
yeah,
it's not a good deal right now.
Well, thanks so much for being here, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good week.
Yep. See ya.